Welcome back, my dear students and friends. I'm Professor Rurus Lias, working in Department of Wildlife Sciences, Aligarh Muslim University. And today we'll be discussing about the concept of endangered and endemic species and species conservation and management, part 2. Conservation measure to protect wildlife, rehabilitation of the endangered species, wildlife safaris. In introduction to the wildlife conservation, we keep on discussing about the wildlife conservation. Wildlife conservation ensure the long-term survival of the species and the ecological role they play. India, as a mega biodiversity country, needs both field-based and institutional approaches to tackle species loss. We will now break this method into two types, that is the in situ conservation and the ex situ conservation. We have already discussed briefly in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. So conservation aims to preserve species, habitat and ecosystem functions, combat habitat loss, extinction and habitat degradation. Strategies fall under in situ and ex situ method, require scientific planning, legal protection and community participation, aligned with global goals, CBT, SDGs and IUCN. So these are the global goals. CBT means Convention on Biological Diversity, Strategic Development Goals, and IUCN. So these are the different ways the conservation is aligned with the global goals also. In situ conservation and overview, conservation species within their natural habitat is the in situ conservation, and it is the most ecologically sound approach, allowing species to evolve and thrive in their native environment. It includes protected area like national parks, sanctuaries, and biosphere reserve. This method support natural behavior, adaptation, and survival better than any artificial setup. Conserve species within their natural habitat, maintain ecological processes and interaction, help conserve entire ecosystem and gene pool, cost effective and sustainable long term, and first line for defense against extinction. This is the first line for the defense against the extinction. Ex situ conservation overview, conservation outside natural habitat like zoos, gene banks, and all. Useful when species are critically endangered or extinct in the wild, allow control breeding research and public education. For example, captive breeding of gharial seed banks in India. Support reintroduction into wild population. After having increasing the number, we release these individuals in the wild. India's in situ conservation framework, managed under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, types of protected areas, National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary, Conservation and Community Reserve, total of over 1000 protected area covering 5% of India's land, and supported by Project Tiger, Elephant, Crocodile, breeding projects, local participation through joint forest management. These are the India's in situ conservation framework. So we have four different kind of protected area under the Wildlife Protection Act: the National Park, Wildlife Sanctuary, Conservation, and the Community Reserve. And total of over 1000 protected area we have, and that covers around 5% of the India's land. We have important species like Project Tiger. We have different projects: Project Tiger, Project Elephant, Project Crocodile, breeding project. So all these are the important flagship projects we are working, government is working and protecting these species. So National Park and Wildlife Sanctuaries. National Park is the highly protected, no human activities allowed. For example, Kanha, Corbett, Pannat, um, many national parks. There are 107 national parks. Wildlife sanctuary allow limited sustainable uses. Sanctuary, there's a difference between the national park and the sanctuary. Both are protected areas. The only difference is that in national park, no human activity is allowed, while in sanctuary, limited sustainable use is allowed for collection of dead fuel wood, fodder, all these are all. That is too with the permission of the chief wildlife warden. Core areas for biodiversity breeding research. Many are home to flagship and keystone species, and there are total 106 national park and 564 wildlife sanctuaries in India. And we are very rich. We are protecting around more than 5% of the land in India under the protected area. So, biosphere reserves, India's biodiversity and community reserve go beyond just preservation. They aim to integrate people with nature, promoting sustainable living while conserving critical habitat. These approach recognize the role of indigenous knowledge and local stewardship in biodiversity protection. So, biosphere reserve and conservation community reserve. Biosphere reserve are the zone for core, buffer, and transition zone. Promotes sustainable use along with conservation. India has 18 biosphere reserves and some under UNESCO's Man and Biosphere Program. Conservation reserve, government owned land, community managed. Conservation reserves are those reserves which has been declared very close to the protected area, existing protected area like national park and sanctuary. And conservation reserves are maintained by the local and the forest department, and it is declared on the government land, while the community reserve is declared on the community owned land, gram panchayat land, gram sabha land, community, and is managed by the community, the local community living around the protected areas. So these conservation reserve and the community reserve are the buffer of the national park and the sanctuary. Mostly come to the ex situ conservation. Ex situ facilities like zoos, botanical gardens, and seed banks ensure that even if species are lost in wild, recovery remains possible. These centers all also support conservation breeding, public engagement, and scientific innovation, making them vital components for modern conservation. 150 plus recognized zoos we have and manage under the Central Zoo Authority. Central Zoo Authority is the authority which manages all the zoo in India. Botanical gardens, seed banks, tissue culture labs, they all are, for example, NV, PGR. Okay, we have botanical garden in Lucknow. So these are the botanical gardens are where we go for the ex situ conservation. Captive breeding programs of species like vulture, gharial, and red panda. India's National Gene Bank holds 4.5 lakhs plus seed uh, accession. Promote research, awareness, and backup for restoration. There are different case studies of conservation. India has seen remarkable conservation victories when science, policy, and community action align. For example, like Project Tiger and Ghadial recovery show that targeted, well-funded program can reverse decline. These stories also underscore the importance of long-term monitoring and adaptive management. So Project Tiger, India's tiger population double in 12 years, Ghadial breeding centers, revived river crocodile population. We have Ghadial breeding centers, revived river Ghadial breeding centers revived the river crocodile population. Snow leopard project in Himalaya, blending research and local supports, and Silent Valley, that is in the Kerala, saved through citizen protest and scientific activities. Kheladev National Park or Khana Bird Sanctuary rehabilitated wetland support perpetuation. No water was left, but now government is providing the water to the wetlands, and Kheladev is getting lots of migratory birds. And these migratory birds are coming from abroad. Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Russia, all these places. So, with 106 national park over 506 sanctuaries, India safeguards key habitat for tigers, rhino, and elephants. And many endemic species, the Biosphere Reserve at another level for combining conservation with sustainable use. Ex-situ measures are equally impressive. Nearly 150 zoos works under the Central Zoo Authority alongside Botanical Garden and the National Gene Bank. Together, these form a multi-layered strategy to conserve India's vast biodiversity. Expanding and effectively managing these areas is essential to meet global conservation targets. So, protected area and zoos in India statistics table. That national park, we have 106 national park, around 44,400 kilometer square area has been covered under the national park. Highest level of population, no human activity allowed. Wildlife sanctuary 584 and around 1,22,560 kilometer square area is under the wildlife sanctuary. Some human activities allowed, biodiversity conservation code, conservation reserve 100 and 4,400 government owned lands community participation. And conservation reserve we have around 220 conservation reserve. Biosphere reserve 18 biosphere reserve. So we actually already had the wildlife sanctuaries and the national park, but declaring the wildlife sanctuary and the national park was actually very difficult. You have to you have to identify the area which you want to declare as a sanctuary and the national park, and then after um, identifying, you have to advertise and this advertise to all the stakeholders who has got the for the stakeholders so that they can claim within a stipulated time if they have any stakes, they have any claim. So there are lots of formalities declaring an area as a national park and the sanctuary to seeing these. And moreover, there are lots of villages around the national park and the sanctuaries, and because of those villages are totally dependent on the natural resources of these two protected area. So what the government said, okay, since it is difficult to declare area as a national park and wildlife sanctuary, still they are declaring, but it's a very time difficult means it's a very long process. They decided to announce some of the areas very close to the wildlife sanctuaries and the national park as a conservation reserve and the community reserve. So usually they act as the buffer for those. So pressure is only on the conservation, pressure of the locals for different forest resources are mainly on the community reserve and the conservation reserve. And these community reserve and conservation reserve are made with the consensus of the local community. Local community has to manage the local community means the area where the land belongs, that community reserve is declared on the land of the community, while the conservation reserve is declared on the land of the government close to the sanctuaries and the national park. So this is the only difference between the community reserve and conservation reserve, and this is the main reason for the area to declare as the community reserve and the conservation reserve. Then we have Biosphere Reserve. This is under the UNESCO Man and Biosphere program. Under that, we have 18 this Biosphere Reserve. Panchmadi is one of the Biosphere Reserve. So they are the multi-zonal, including core, buffer, and transitional zone. Biosphere reserve means if the people are living in that, the whole area is being protected. Whole hillock is being protected. If there are human activities, there are national within the biosphere reserve. There could be national parks, sanctuaries, biosphere reserve, the community reserve, conservation reserve. Along with that, the people are also living there. There could be lots of villages inside the biosphere reserve, but they have to maintain the ecosystem of the area. So that is the main of the biosphere reserve. This is the multi-zonal, includes core, buffer, and transitional zone. Total protected area network is 998, aimed to expand to 30% under 30 into 30 global target. Recognized zoos include large, medium, mini, and resource center. Botanical gardens, we have botanical garden, we have zoos and botanical garden for the for the ex situ conservation. So we have 147 recognized zoos, and aim to expand to 30% under 30 into 30 global target, and recognize zoos 147 zoos and botanical gardens 80 plus. Botanical garden includes Indian Botanical Garden, Kolkata Tropical Garden, Arboretum. Seeds and seed banks, we have one major NBPGR state units, holds 4.5 lakhs plant genetic accessories, and captive breeding centers 20 plus for vulture, gharial, red panda, hangul, and more. So there are important role of the community in this protected areas, and we have already said that community involvement is not just desirable; it is essential. Conservation must move beyond fence to involve people in decision and benefits. From sacred groups in Meghalaya to community-led vulture restaurant in Gujarat, India's offer great example of inclusive conservation. Local people are the key to effective conservation because they are aware about the area, they are aware about the animals, plants living in that, though with the local name. Eco development committees in buffer zones, we should develop. They have the low eco development committee. They are responsible for uh, all the things growing in and around their area. NGOs like WWF India, WTI, A3 supports grassroots conservation. Sacred groups preserve through traditional ecological knowledge, and community-based models reduce conflict and improve participation. So community-based model reduces conflict and involve participation, because when community is sensitized, is being sensitized that this forest, you belongs to this forest belongs to you, and whatever this forest is having, whether it's animal, birds, plants, whatever belongs to you, and you have to protect. So there should be one belonging of the locals with the resources. Then only they will be bit emotional and they will be protecting. So community-based models reduces conflict and improve the participation. Challenges in wildlife conservation. Picture itself is saying that a man is throwing the stone pellet so that they can remove the elephants, because elephants are trying to enter in their agriculture fields. Once they entered, the whole field will be gone, will be destroyed. So despite achievements, India conservation effort faces many hurdles. Rapid developments, conflict over land, and limited resources make it difficult to meet conservation goals. Addressing these challenges requires better planning, scientific input, and multi-stakeholders governments. So these are the things. Multi-stakeholder government is required. Human wildlife conflict, habitat loss, infrastructure development. Challenges in wildlife conservation is human wildlife conflict, habitat loss, infrastructure development, poaching and illegal wildlife trade remains threats, climate change, shift species distribution and limiting and timing, lack of funding and capacity in remote region. Funding is a very big issue in especially in the remote region for management. Need for stronger policy, science, community linkage. So we need the stronger policy, science, and community linkage between policy, science, and community management through the using the government policy, through the scientific method, involving the community is the need of the hour. So towards holistic conservation, conclusion, in situ and ex situ conservation are complementary tools. They go hand by hand. India's protected area network is vital but need expansion and connectivity. People-centric conservation built resilience and success, integrate science, policy, and education for future solution, and protecting wildlife, protecting ecosystem, protecting ourselves. It is not only the protecting the wildlife, but also if we are protecting the wildlife, along with the wildlife, we are protecting the ecosystem. And this ecosystem we are going to use. We are going to use this ecosystem, the oxygen from the environment, the food from the forest, the wood product from the forest, and non-timber forest product from the forest. We will be benefited by this. So it is our responsibility to protect and conserve these forests, these areas, and we can do this with the small steps. We can reduce the pressure on the natural resources like electricity. Too many electricity is not good. We can make a habit that always when you leave the room, put off the light and fans. Okay, so what we are doing, we are wasting lots of water by we are wasting lots of water because when we are brushing teeth, the tap is on, flowing. But there are many areas, Rajasthan and Gujarat, where people travel miles and miles to get the drinking water. Water we have in UP, in Aligarh we have enough sub, 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 sufficient water, but there are places, Bundelkhand, it's a drought prone area. We do not have water in Bundelkhand, and that is why what government is doing, government is interlinking the two river system, the Kane and Betwa river system, the interlinking, so that the surplus water they can provide to the areas where it is a drought area, where no water is available, not even for drinking, forget about the agriculture and all. So the small steps we can take to protect and conserve, um, protection and the conservation, and the direct we are the direct beneficiary of this, because whatever we are using from the nature, with its stone for making the house, it's a soil of making the house, it's a wood for making the house or making the furniture, and everything we are taking from the environment. So conclude, effective conservation must be holistic, inclusive, and adaptive, and both in situ and ex situ method are important, especially when combined with community-led approaches and scientific research. It is not only the community, but community should be make aware about the scientific approach, scientific research, and they both work together. As stewards of one of the world's richest biodiversity legacy, India's responsibility is global, and the future depends on how we act today. Our action is responsible for our future. More resources you are exploiting. Everything is available for the use, but over exploitation means you are taking someone else's share. If you are wasting water, means something is really thirsty. So these things we have to always remember. If we are eating, if we are wasting food, especially in the hostels, I have seen, and I'm the provost of one of the hostels, I have seen lots of girls are wasting foods. So wasting foods, when you are wasting food, just remember there are people who are deprived, dying because of the hunger. So these are the references. Most of the references are from the websites like Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. You just check, you will get lots of data. IUCN, Central Zoo Authority, again online, National Biodiversity Authority, Convention on Biological Diversity. They have their independent website, UNESCO, National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, Kumar and Singh. So these are the literature. If you want to study further, you can please go through, you explore these references. These are very good, not only for the exam, for your own awareness. You should read all these documents. You make yourself center. Government main aim of the government is to sensitize the youth, because you are the future of the planet. You understand what is biodiversity, why conservation is important, how we are dependent on the natural resources. So we are breathing without realizing that this oxygen which we are breathing we are inhaling is actually a plant is giving to us. And that plant is absorbing all our bad gases. So if we realize this, the importance of the plant, the importance of the animal, we can do wonder. So this sensitization is important um, in each of these student of you attending this class. So thank you very much and enjoy the lecture. Hope to see you soon in my next lecture. By then you enjoy this lecture. Thank you.